Hello friends, welcome back to Dream Room. Before we begin, I want you to take a quiet look at the space around your home. Maybe you have a small backyard with an old fence you barely notice anymore. Maybe it is a narrow side yard, a tiny patio, a balcony corner, or a simple garden edge that feels unfinished, no matter how many plants you add. Or perhaps you are someone who loves decorating every part of the home, the bedroom, the bathroom, the home office, the living room, and even the little outdoor corners. But you want ideas that are beautiful, practical, affordable, and easy to do with natural materials. If that sounds like you, this video is made for you. Because sometimes, the most powerful design opportunity is not a new sofa, a new pergola, or an expensive landscaping project. Sometimes, it is the plain fence standing quietly in your backyard. That fence can become a privacy screen, a living wall, a herb garden, a cozy seating backdrop, a place for soft evening lights, and even a small outdoor room where you can rest, read, drink tea, or spend peaceful time with family. And the best part is this: you do not need a large yard, a professional crew, or a luxury budget. With a few smart choices, color, texture, plants, lighting, old crates, bamboo, branches, gravel, pots, and simple DIY touches, even the smallest outdoor space can begin to feel warm, personal, and beautifully designed. So today, I will share 8 incredible fence garden ideas that can help you turn an ordinary backyard edge into your own private oasis. And if you enjoy gentle, practical home and garden ideas like this, please subscribe to Dream Room, because there are many more cozy transformations waiting for you. 1. Turn your fence into an outdoor feature wall. The first idea is the most important one, because it changes the way you see your whole backyard. Most people look at a fence and think, that is just the boundary. It is there to separate one property from another, to keep pets in, to give a little privacy, and nothing more. But in design, a fence can be so much more than a line at the edge of the yard. It can become the main wall of your outdoor room. Think about how you decorate inside your home. In a bedroom, you might create a beautiful wall behind the bed. In a living room, you might arrange artwork, shelves, lamps, or plants around the sofa. In a home office, even one small wall can change the whole feeling of the space. Your fence can work the same way. If your backyard feels plain, start by choosing one section of the fence and treating it like a feature wall. You do not have to redesign everything. Paint it in a soft cream for a calm cottage feeling, a deep charcoal for a modern garden look, sage green for a peaceful natural style, or a warm wood stain if you love rustic charm. Then add a few simple layers. Place 3 matching pots at the base. Hang 1 basket of trailing flowers. Add a narrow shelf for herbs, a lantern, or a small piece of weatherproof decor. Suddenly, that forgotten fence begins to feel intentional. This is especially helpful if you have a small patio, a narrow side yard, or a backyard that feels unfinished. Instead of filling the ground with too much furniture, you allow the fence to carry the design upward. And once you see your fence as a wall, not just a boundary, every other idea in this video becomes easier to imagine. 2. Create privacy without making the yard feel closed in. The second idea is about privacy, because for many people, this is the real reason they want to improve their backyard. Maybe your patio faces a neighbor's window. Maybe your balcony feels too exposed. Maybe your side yard is close to a driveway, or your small backyard feels like everyone can see what you are doing. When a space does not feel private, it is hard to relax there, even if you have beautiful plants and nice furniture. But privacy does not have to mean building a taller, heavier fence. In fact, if you close in a small yard too much, it can begin to feel dark, narrow, and uncomfortable. A better approach is to create soft layers. Start with the places where privacy matters most. Think about where you sit for morning coffee, where you eat outside, where you read, or where you talk with family. Those are the areas that need protection first. You can add bamboo screens, lattice panels, tall planters, climbing vines, ornamental grasses, or shrubs in front of the fence. Each layer blocks a little of the view while still allowing light, air, and movement to pass through. A planter filled with tall grasses can soften one exposed corner. A trellis with jasmine or climbing roses can create privacy behind a bench. A few large pots with bamboo or evergreens can shield a patio without making the whole garden feel closed in. The goal is not to hide the entire yard. The goal is to create small pockets of comfort. When privacy is designed this way, it feels natural, peaceful, and beautiful, not like a quick fix, but like part of the garden itself. 3. Use vertical planters for small backyards and narrow spaces. The third idea is especially useful if your outdoor space is small. Maybe you do not have a large backyard. Maybe you only have a narrow side yard, a little patio, a small deck, or a balcony-style corner where every inch matters. In spaces like these, the ground can fill up very quickly. One chair, one table, and a few pots may already make the area feel crowded. That is why your fence is so valuable. It gives you vertical space. Instead of placing everything on the floor, you can lift your garden upward. Wall-mounted planters, pocket planters, slim shelves, wooden crates, ladder planters, and narrow trellises can all help you grow more without taking away walking space. You can use these vertical planters for herbs near the kitchen, strawberries in a sunny spot, trailing flowers for softness, small ferns for shade, compact vegetables, succulents, or seasonal blooms that can be changed throughout the year. This is also a very practical idea for older gardeners or anyone who wants less bending and easier maintenance. When plants are raised to a comfortable height, watering, trimming, and harvesting become much easier. You can enjoy the beauty of gardening without constantly kneeling or reaching down to the ground. And visually, vertical planters make a small garden feel taller, fuller, and more alive. A plain fence suddenly becomes a green wall. A narrow walkway becomes a charming garden path. A small patio begins to feel like an outdoor room. When floor space is limited, do not think smaller, think upward. 4. Add climbing plants and trellises for a living garden wall. The fourth idea is to use climbing plants and trellises to turn your fence into a living garden wall. This is one of the most classic fence garden ideas, and it is still beautiful because it brings softness, movement, fragrance, and life to a hard surface. A plain fence can feel flat and empty, but once climbing plants begin to grow upward, the whole space feels more natural and welcoming. You might choose jasmine or star jasmine for fragrance, climbing roses for romance, clematis for color, honeysuckle for a soft cottage feeling, passion flower for something more dramatic, or ivy and creeping fig for rich green texture. But the modern way to use climbing plants is not always to cover the entire fence. Instead, think about framing certain sections. Let vines grow behind a bench, around a gate, over a simple arch, or along one part of the fence where you want the eye to pause. A trellis helps give the plant structure. Black metal trellises can make the garden feel clean and modern. Wooden lattice feels warmer and more traditional. Bamboo poles give a natural, relaxed look. Simple wire grids can be a budget-friendly option for small spaces. The important thing is to choose plants that match your fence and your lifestyle. Some vines grow quickly and need regular trimming. Others are slower and easier to control. If your fence is older or weaker, avoid anything too heavy. When chosen carefully, climbing plants make your fence feel less like a barrier and more like a living, breathing part of the garden. 5. Build easy DIY fence panels with natural materials. The fifth idea is perfect if you love simple DIY projects and want a big visual change without spending too much money. Sometimes an old fence does not need to be replaced. It just needs a new layer in front of it. Simple fence panels made from natural or affordable materials can instantly make the whole backyard feel more styled and intentional. You can use wooden slat panels, bamboo screens, old crates, reclaimed boards, branches, terracotta pots, gravel, stones, rope, and woven baskets. These materials feel warm, natural, and easy to connect with plants, outdoor furniture, and garden paths. A wooden slat panel can make an older fence look modern. A bamboo screen can soften a harsh or plain wall. A few reclaimed boards can become a rustic backdrop for hanging pots. Branches tied together can become a simple trellis for climbing plants. The best part is that these projects can often be done in one weekend. You might create a crate herb wall, a hanging lantern rail, a bamboo privacy panel, a gravel border, or a small vertical shelf for potted plants. You do not need to make the entire fence perfect. Start with one visible section, the part behind a chair, beside a patio table, or near the garden entrance. When that one area looks beautiful, the whole space begins to feel more thoughtful. This is the kind of project that makes people feel proud because it is not only decorative, it is personal, practical, and made with your own hands. 6. Create a cozy seating nook against the fence. The sixth idea is to turn your fence into the backdrop for a cozy seating nook. This is where the fence garden becomes more than decoration. It becomes a place you actually use. A small bench, a bistro table, an outdoor chair, a daybed, or even a simple folding seat can completely change the feeling of a plain fence line. Place the seating near the fence, then build gentle layers around it. Behind the seat, you might add tall plants, climbing vines, hanging baskets, or a trellis. Beside the seat, place a few pots with soft flowers or herbs. Above or around it, add warm lighting so the corner feels peaceful in the evening. This does not have to be a large outdoor lounge. Even a tiny patio or narrow backyard can hold one beautiful sitting spot. It might become the place where you drink morning coffee, enjoy evening tea, read a book, rest after gardening, or talk quietly with someone you love. The key is to design for real life. Add a small table where you can set a cup. Add a cushion that can be stored easily. Add a hook for a hat or a garden tool. Make sure there is enough light if you want to use the space after sunset. When a fence becomes the background for a place to sit, the whole yard feels more personal. It no longer looks like an empty edge. It feels like a small outdoor room made for comfort, privacy, and quiet moments at home. 7. Design an edible fence garden for herbs, strawberries, and small vegetables. The seventh idea is to make your fence garden both beautiful and useful. An edible fence garden is perfect if you enjoy cooking, growing small plants, or bringing a little more freshness into everyday life. Instead of using the fence only for decoration, you can turn it into a place where herbs, fruits, and compact vegetables grow within easy reach. You can use wall-mounted planters, hanging troughs, pocket planters, wooden crates, or narrow shelves attached to the fence. These are ideal for plants that do not need a lot of ground space. Basil, rosemary, thyme, mint, and chives are wonderful choices for a cooking herb wall. Lettuce and edible flowers can make a small salad fence feel fresh and pretty. Strawberries can trail beautifully from hanging planters. Cherry tomatoes and peppers can grow in larger containers placed along the base of the fence. This kind of garden feels like functional luxury. It looks charming, but it also gives something back to your daily routine. Imagine stepping outside to pick a few herbs for dinner, a sprig of mint for tea, or a handful of strawberries when family visits. You can also organize the fence by theme. One section can be for tea herbs, another for cooking herbs, another for salad greens, and another for small fruits. For small homes, patios, and busy households, this is one of the smartest fence garden ideas. It saves space, adds beauty, and makes the garden feel connected to the kitchen, the family, and the simple pleasure of living well at home. 8. Use lighting, clean edges, and low-maintenance plants for a finished look. The eighth idea is about the finishing touches that make a fence garden feel complete. You may already have plants, pots, or a trellis, but if the space still feels unfinished, look at 3 simple things: lighting, clean edges, and low-maintenance plants. First, lighting. A fence garden can look beautiful during the day, but lighting makes it feel magical after sunset. You can use string lights, solar sconces, small lanterns, low-voltage uplights, or tiny lights placed behind grasses and planters. The goal is not to make the yard too bright. The goal is to create soft pools of light that make the space feel warm, safe, and peaceful in the evening. Next, look at the bottom of the fence. This area is often forgotten. Weeds, uneven soil, messy pots, or bare dirt can make the whole garden look less polished. A clean edge changes everything. You can use gravel, stepping stones, mulch, brick edging, creeping thyme, mondo grass, or repeated low pots to create a neat line along the fence. Finally, choose plants that do not demand constant work. For sunny fences, Lavender, rosemary, ornamental grasses, and hardy evergreens are strong choices. For shady fences, ferns, hostas, and shade-loving plants can bring softness and texture. Larger pots can also help because they do not dry out as quickly as small containers. These details may seem simple, but together, they create the finished look. Good lighting makes the garden inviting. A clean base makes it feel designed. Easy care plants keep it beautiful, without turning it into another stressful chore. And that is what a good fence garden should do. Make your outdoor space easier to enjoy, not harder to maintain. Conclusion: privacy, beauty, comfort, and a backyard that feels like home. So before you look at your backyard and think it is too small, too plain, too old, or too ordinary, I want you to look at your fence one more time. That simple fence may be holding more possibility than you realized. It can become a feature wall, a privacy screen, a vertical garden, a living wall of climbing plants, a place for natural DIY panels, a cozy seating backdrop, an edible herb garden, and a softly lit corner that feels peaceful at the end of the day. And you do not have to do everything at once. In fact, the best transformations often begin with one small section. Clean the base of the fence. Add 3 matching pots. Hang 1 trellis. Plant 1 climbing vine. Place 1 lantern. Add 1 simple bench. These small changes can slowly turn an ignored backyard edge into a space that feels warm, useful, and personal. A beautiful home is not only about large rooms, expensive furniture, or perfect gardens. It is about creating little places that support your daily life. A quiet corner for morning coffee, a green wall outside your window, a few herbs near the kitchen, a safe path at night, or a private place to sit and breathe. That is the real beauty of a fence garden. It does not just decorate your yard, it helps your home feel more complete. If one of these ideas inspired you, tell me in the comments which fence garden style you would love to try first. Privacy plants, climbing roses, vertical planters, a cozy seating nook, or an edible herb wall. And if you enjoy gentle, practical ideas for small spaces, home decor, garden corners, and easy DIY transformations, please follow and subscribe to Dream Room. I would love to share more beautiful ways to make your home feel peaceful, creative, and truly yours.